In previous videos, we've talked about companies that have benefited from the COVID-19 economy. Yelp is not one of them. It started out as a way to search for restaurants, and just as COVID-19 has been bad for restaurants, it's been bad for Yelp as well. If we look at the stock chart year to date, we see Yelp is down, and it recovered somewhat from the March nadir, but not so much. And now it's facing a new controversy with its new feature allowing users to accuse businesses of racism. There are questions about what kind of controls are involved with this new feature and whether it might be used dishonestly. So let's look at ways you might be able to hedge Yelp if you're long the stock and want to stay long. First thing we do is enter the symbol in the Portfolio Armor iPhone app. And the symbol is just the name Yelp. And we enter a number of shares. Here I'll enter 1,000. And then the next field asks us to enter the largest decline we're willing to risk over the time frame of the hedge. So for this example, I'll use 20%, and we'll stick with our default time to expiration, which is the options expiring closest to 6 months out. We tap Find Optimal Hedge, and we find one, but it's really expensive. So these are the optimal puts to hedge 1,000 shares of Yelp against a greater than 20% decline by May 21st. And as you can see here, the cost is $4,100 or 19.7% of position value. That annualizes to an incredibly high 32.69% of position value. So one way we can potentially lower this cost is to indicate we're willing to cap our upside. So let's try indicating we're willing to cap it at 20% over the same time frame and see what happens. This time, after tapping Find Optimal Hedge, we're presented with an optimal collar where the net cost is negative $250. That means if you were to open this collar on Monday, you would have received a net credit of $250 or 1.2% of position value. So if I owned Yelp, I don't think I'd want to pay 19.7% of position value to hedge it here. I'd sooner sell it if I were bearish or concerned. Well, if you're bearish, you should sell in any case. But if you're bullish but cautious and you want to limit your downside risk, this type of hedge here, this collar, where you're essentially getting paid to hedge, seems like a better choice to me than the optimal put hedge. But you can play around with this and enter different parameters and see what you find makes more sense. For example, if you were to lower your cap percentage to 15, that's going to increase the negative cost or increase the net credit you would get from hedging. In this case, it would go up to a $900 net credit or 4.32% of position value. So something to consider if you're long Yelp and you're looking to limit your downside risk.